Alright, so this lesson is going to be about composition of functions. This is something new in Algebra 2. I don't, maybe you've seen it previously, but most of this should be new to you, okay? So let's just look at what composition of function is and what it means. Function composition is basically when you're applying one function to the result of another, okay? What that means is we're basically taking a function and putting it inside of another function. Okay, let me just review again what a function, how a function notation looks. Remember that a function notation, you start by writing the letter of the name of the function, which is just a letter, and then we have some kind of an input. So here we have f of x. So we know that my input, whatever I plug in, is x. Okay, or sometimes we see a number here, right? So let's say maybe my input is 3. So we know that in my function we plug in 3 and then we just go from there. Or whatever, we could say, I don't know, let's plug in a shape in here. You know, we can say, well, I'm going to plug in a heart. There's really nothing I can do with this, but at least I know where it goes. Okay? So function composition, what it is inside a function, I'm plugging in another function. Okay? So inside f of x, I'm plugging in g of x. Alright, so we're going to start with some easy examples and then we'll go to ones that don't have numbers. We just have to simplify those functions. Okay? So the first one here, let me just erase this right here. The first one, sorry, let me go through this. Sometimes you might see it as this. This is read as f of g of x. Okay? F of g of x. Or sometimes you've written like this, f of g of x. So the way we say this, f of g of x. Okay? Alright, so let me just show you how do we work these problems. So here I'm given 3 functions. I have f of x equals 2x plus 4, g of x equals x minus 2, and h of x equals negative 3x plus 8. So when I look at this, it's asking me to take the 3, plug it inside g of x first. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So my first step is you basically want to work from the inside out. So I have to find g of 3. Okay, I can do that. Well, the g function is right here, so I'm going to just copy this down, x minus 2. And then I'm going to plug in 3 for my x. 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. My second step would be, and look at what I just did here. I said, well, this is f of, and we found that g of 3 is equal to what? 1. So I can just substitute 1 here for g of 3. Okay? So that's what I'm going to do. So my second step would be to take my next function, the function that's on the outside over here, and plug in my answer, plug in my result. So I'm going to plug that in here. And then I know where f function is. It's right here, so I'm just going to copy it down. Okay, so this to whatever I got here. So I'm going to plug in the 1 into my function here. 2 times 1 plus 4. So this is 2 plus 4, which is 6. So my answer here is 6. Okay, there's no way for me to write this as a coordinate because I have so many different inputs here. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as the answer to this problem is 6. Okay? Alright, so for the second example, so my first step again, I'm going to work from inside out. So you have here f of negative 2. So that's what I'm going to find first. So f of negative 2 is, so I'm looking at the f function, which is 2x plus 4. And then inside the f function, I'm plugging in negative 2. So you have 2 parentheses negative 2 plus 4. And then 2, you can just do the math here. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So, and then my second step is to, once I'm done with the inside function, I'm going to look at the outside function here, the h function. So now, what am I going to plug inside the h function? I'm going to plug in the 0 here, whatever my result is for this function here. So I'm going to call the h function, which is negative 3x plus 8. And then I'm going to plug in whatever answer I got here, which was 0 plus 8. So negative 3 times 0 is just 0 plus 8, which is 8. That's my answer. Okay, my last example I have here. So my first step is to whatever's is on the inside here. So we have h of 4. We're going to find that. So the h function is negative 3x plus 8. And then I'm going to plug in 4. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 plus 8. And then this is equal to negative 4. Okay? And then my second step is to take whatever's on the outside now, which is g. And then I'm going to plug whatever answer I got here, my result, into here. So my g functions is x minus 2. Plug it in. And this is negative 6. That's my answer. Alright, so now these next three problems I have, I don't have anything to plug in for x, so let me just show you how we do this. So what this function is saying is we're going to take the g function and plug in x. So we have the g function. G function is x minus 2. There's nothing to plug here because it doesn't tell us, it just says to leave it as x. And then what it's asking, so this is just going to end up being x minus 2. So what I have to do here is I'm going to take now the outside function, which is f of x, and inside f of x, if we're kind of following the same type of a process, inside f of x, I have to plug the whole g function, this whole thing here. So I have f of x minus 2. Okay, so let me call the f function. F is 2x plus 4. Well, let me write that down, 2x plus 4. And I know it looks a little weird, but that's what it is. This is what composition of function is. So I'm going to take 2 and just put a parentheses, and everywhere I see a x, I have to plug in all of g of x, and look at where g of x is. G of x is x plus 2. X minus 2. Just so that's why we're going to use parentheses here. And then don't forget the plus 4. I have a lot of students who do this part, but then they forget to finish writing the f function. So don't forget the plus 4, and then just bring that down. From here on out, we're just going to clean it up using our math skills. We're going to distribute the 2. So 2 times x is 2x, and then 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And then bring this down. We're just simplifying this, and then we're going to combine like terms. So negative 4 and 4 are like terms, so you have 2x. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so we don't have to write it. I can write it and then rewrite it again if it's confusing. So this is just 2x. And this is my answer. This is my composition of functions. Okay? Alright. So let me see if, for problem number 5. So it's asking me to plug in f of x inside g of x. So I'm going to start by writing f of x. I'm sorry. I'm going to start by writing g of x, which is, and then inside g of x, I'm plugging in f of x. So here's where I'm going to write f of x, 2x plus 4. Okay, and then what is g of x equal to? X minus 2. Okay, and then what am I plugging inside my x here? All of f of x right here. Okay, and then we just clean this up. So we have to distribute. There's nothing to distribute in front of the parentheses, so I'm just going to take out the parentheses, and then I'm going to combine like terms. 4 minus 2 is 2, so this is my answer. Okay, the last one. So I'm plugging, I have h of x is negative 3x plus 8. H of x is negative 3x plus 8. And inside h of x, I'm asked to plug in f of x. And I didn't want to write that. I want to write what f of x is. So f of x is 2x plus 4 right here. 2x plus 4 equals, and then negative 3. And then for my x, I just have to plug whatever I have here. So this is parentheses 2x plus 4 plus, and then don't forget the plus 8. And then here we just need to clean this up. We need to distribute. Negative 3 times 2 is negative, 2 times 2 is 6x. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12 plus 8. So this is negative 6x minus 4. That's my answer. Okay. There's some problems for you to try here. And please let me know if you have any questions.